Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and hello to attendees from around the world. My name is Linda Galloway, and I will serve as a moderator for this webinar, Strategies for Securing Early Career Researcher Funding. Thank you for spending the next hour or so with us, and we're pleased to bring you this webinar from the Western United States, most of us. I'm in California, and our two fabulous presenters are both from the great state of Texas. So before we get started, just a few housekeeping items, actually basically just one. When you view the presentation, we suggest viewing it in full screen mode for a more pleasurable experience. So just click the little button in the bottom right side of your screen to pop it up into full screen. And a reminder that everybody's muted, but you'll have plenty of opportunities to ask questions. So please pop any questions you have into the question box on the screen, and we'll get to as many as we can by the end of the presentation. If we can't answer your question during this live session, we'll follow up with you afterwards. And also a reminder that relevant resources are found in the attachments section. So you can see that you can download the presentation. We've got some info sites linked. So there's plenty of extra information for you there in the attachments and links section. And again, let me just introduce our presenters quickly, and they'll talk a little bit about themselves and their institutions when they are giving their session. So first is the fabulous Melody Moore, who is a research development specialist from the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, Texas. And then we're going to hear from Crystal Sanchez, who is a program manager with the Office of Research Development and Communications at Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. And finally, me. I'm Linda Galloway, and I'm a customer consultant for Elsevier Research Intelligence. So prior to working for Elsevier, I had a long career in academia, first as a chemist, and then as a STEM and health sciences librarian. We'll find our agenda for this webinar on the screen. We've already done our little housekeeping items, our brief introductions, reminder that the questions, just pop any questions you have into the question box on the screen, and we'll answer them at the end of the meeting. Get to as many as we can, and anything that we can't answer, we will follow up with you. So this is our please stand by screen while we switch to a different presenter. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Melody Moore to present today.
Thank you so much, Linda. Good morning, everyone, afternoon, evening. I am so happy to be speaking to you today. My name is Melody Moore. I am a research specialist at UTMB, University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, Texas. That's a little island at the southeast end of Texas. And I'm very happy to be speaking with you today and sharing with you what we do for our new and early stage investigators here at UTMB. So just a little bit about UTMB. The University of Texas Medical Branch was established in 1891 with one building and 23 students. The building you see here is called Old Red, and it was built in 1895, and it's a gorgeous old building here on campus. We were the first public medical school and hospital in the United States under unified leadership, and we were the first medical school west of the Mississippi that we were the first established medical school west of the Mississippi, and we were also the first to admit people of color and women before 1900. Currently, we were just named in the top 15 IBM Watson teaching hospitals. We have grown to have 4 campuses across southeast Texas. We still have hospitals at each of those campuses. We have 4 schools, the School of Medicine, Nursing, Health Professions, and a graduate school. And we have several major research institutes, and that includes the Human Infections and Immunity Institute, which includes the Galveston National Laboratory. We have an Institute of Aging, Structural Biology and Molecular Physics, Vaccine Sciences, Women's Health, and a Translational Science Institute, which was recently funded for another 5 years with an NIH CTSA award, which is kind of a major deal here in the U.S. We have, as far as research goes, we have both basic and clinical research. We have almost 850 full-time research faculty, and a little over 50 of those are new and early-stage investigators. As you can see, we rank number 1 in the Blue Ridge ranking in microbiology and number 15 in OBGYN, and something that we're really proud of. So today I'm going to talk about how we really help new and early-stage investigators here at UTMB. We do it in 3 stages. We teach them promotion, show them promotion, offer that to them, training, and then help them to locate funding. Promotion, make yourself known, tout your experience. Training, what's the difference? There's a big difference between fellowship and faculty positions, and sometimes that can be overwhelming. So because you have new management responsibilities, you have responsibilities as finances and procedures, regulatory things that you didn't have as a fellow. And so we help them with that through training. And then what makes a funding proposal successful once you find it? And then how do you find funding? Where do you look? How do you manage the search? How much time do you spend searching? Things like that. So we help them throughout the process. One of our first tools we use to help promote themselves is our UTMB Research Experts Profile. Now, promotion is one of the things that we really encourage our new and early stage investigators to do. Through our experts profiles, which is an Elsevier Pure tool, we allow we allow and show our young investigators to demonstrate what they have done. They can demonstrate what they have done through publications and other activities with this tool. They can find people they want to work with both on our campus and other campuses. And this tool also highlights current and past projects and grants. I really encourage all faculty to use this tool, but especially our young new faculty and early stage faculty. And I encourage them to put the link to this tool in their email signature so that everyone they email can easily access these details about them quickly and see a lot about them without them having to explain it up front. This tool shows a fingerprint with research topics. It shows some more profiles. It shows their global publication network all in one spot. So it's really a great tool for them to use. It also shows their grants and projects that they have going on. It shows their research output, and then it shows all the metrics that have to do with the research output, whether it's publications or data sets or whatever it is they have to do. The next thing we like to do is leadership at UTMB is really committed to preparing our new and early stage investigators for their first major research grant. And we in the Research Services Department offer a myriad of training opportunities. You can see here that this is just a sample that I'm showing you up here on the slide. We offer NCBI training, which includes BioSketch, publication submission, and management. We also monthly do a grants roundtable and a grants for lunch. It's 2 separate opportunities which talk about how-to processes, I did a project, chalk talk direction, things like that. And then we offer the very important regulatory training because, as I said, when you first become an investigator, it's very difficult to really know about all of the ins and outs of the regulatory process as a PI. It's much different than when you were just working for a PI. And then once we have the live sessions, we also have toolkits that are available on the Research Services website to all researchers. These toolkits, their guidance toward submission management, answers to regulatory processes again, and they are able to access necessary forms through these toolkits. And I'll just show you what we have here. The Preaward Toolkit is very broad. It offers just about anything you would want to know as far as a pre-award, writing the grant, how you're going, what's expected of you. It gives you guidelines on how to budget, gives you general information, background about the school, demographic information, things that you're going to have to put in that proposal, whether it's a National Institutes of Health proposal or whether it is a foundation proposal. Much of this is, it can be moved from proposal to proposal, and you don't have to rewrite it every time because it's available to you. Now the post-award reporting, we have reporting tools, how to manage your grant, how to look at your grant and see what your spend rate is, how much you've got left, things like that. All of that is available to all of our researchers, and one of the things we do is we do teach our new and early stage investigators how to use that very early so they are really prepared when they get that first major research award, whether it is an NIH R01 or whether it is a state award or a foundation award. Now what we're always aiming at is that NIH R01 because that is in the U.S. the ultimate research grant that you can get as a single investigator. We also have regulatory toolboxes. I'm showing you the one with the IRB, and as you can see, we provide everything from getting started to training to policies and procedures to how to use the electronic tools necessary, and then who else to contact if you're doing human studies. We also have one that includes animal studies too. And the last thing we offer is all those essential forms that are offered all through the website. We also have them in one spot. So training is very important to us. Leadership has really made a commitment to make sure that we do train and our early and young investigators, new investigators, to get that kind of training. We also offer funding assistance. We help them locate. We assist them in once they locate it, and then we also communicate what funding opportunities are available. Now, funding institutional is is the tool we use. It is integral to locating funding here at UTMB, and so you're able to search, save, track, and share with this one tool across campus. One of my favorite things about funding institutional is the recommended opportunities. This is based on a PI's published research in Scopus. It's very easy to manage, it's easy to teach, and it's really quick. And if something doesn't appear to be right for you, you cross it off and you get another recommended opportunity based on your publication almost immediately. So it's one of my favorite tools to use. A few years ago, the Provost and Chief Research Officer committed to fund the Office of Research Advancement, or what we refer to on campus as Grants Central. While not directed solely at new and early stage investigators, this office focuses on providing research and development and proposal development and supports faculty by providing strategic, proactive, catalytic, and capacity building services. And it is really it is especially available to our new and early stage investigators. We communicate new funding opportunities through the Research Services blog. This is something that's done daily. As you can see, I pulled this screenshot yesterday, and we announce internal opportunities through here. We announce NIH opportunities. This is something that we do almost daily. And then once we put it on there, just so you don't have to go in every day and look at it, once a week we send out a blog update. Now this is where we just pull everything we put on the blog and we send it to a listserv list across campus, and that way, because investigators, researchers are really busy doing the research, we don't want them to have to spend a lot more time looking for funding opportunities and and communicating. We want to make it as easy as possible on them. Now, we've been doing this since I arrived at UTMB in 2013, and we've got a couple of success stories that I want to share with you. Dr. Lyons started here as an assistant professor in 2014, and she has just gradually built her funding portfolio up, took advantage of all the tools that we offered, went to the Grants for Lunches, went to the Grants Roundtables classes, learned how to submit her publications, and she received her first NIH R01 within 5 years of becoming faculty. Now that's really kind of amazing because statistically NIH says that you receive your first R01 at about age of 40, so about 10 years after you become faculty. The next one is Dr. Minichieri. Now Vineet is, he's new to UTMB this year. He really promotes his work. As you can see, he's got 167 media mentions. Now he has used the Grant Central tool, is really taking advantage of that. And he just received his first NIH R01, and he's been faculty almost 2 years. Now he is a coronavirus researcher, so that may have helped a little bit, but we're very proud of him and the work that he has been doing and the work that he's done, and we're looking forward to seeing how he progresses. I really want to thank you so much for listening to my presentation today. Here's my email address if you have any questions, my phone number, and then here is a link to that Research Experts page. And thank you so much.
Melody, thank you so much for presenting. I see that our attendees are definitely finding the question box, so please go ahead and continue to enter the questions in the question box, and I am monitoring them and will answer at the end of this. But thanks again, Melody. Your presentation was really interesting and awesome, as usual. And now we're just waiting a minute while Crystal's ready. And I think, Crystal, you can take it away. I'm noticing just a tiny delay between what we see, Crystal, and what the presenters, or the audience rather, sees. So as soon as the audience sees your screen, I think I'll hand it over. And now looks about right. So Crystal, take it away.
Perfect. And so I know there was a couple of questions that have come into the chat box, and so I think that Melody and I can definitely help answer some of those questions. So some of those questions I will actually answer in my PowerPoint. So what others get unanswered, we will be happy to respond to at the end of my short PowerPoint. So again, Melody and I are both here in Texas experiencing triple digits. It's been quite hot, so it's been nice to be able to work from home and stay inside. So hopefully we both can provide you with some ideas or direction or support while supporting early career new faculty. So presentation today, the price of greatness is responsibility. And so really all encompassing, I really want to talk about how it's the responsibility of not only the faculty member, but also the support team, the campus, the VPR's office. It's very much a team effort in order to help the faculty feel supported with their research, with their finding funding, with their connections, with their collaborations, and their time spent at the university. So again, as Linda mentioned, I'm a program manager in the Office of Research Development and Communications, and that's under the Office of Research and Innovation. So our VPR does a phenomenal job of supporting research and faculty and really facilitating opportunities for discussions and innovation within the department. And one thing that I know that has been extremely helpful since my time at Tech, which has been a short 2 years, but it's been a fun 2 years. He does host weekly RAC meetings, which are Research Advisory Council meetings, and that includes Dr. Heppert, so our VPR staff, and then the Associate Deans of Research. So, of course, recently their weekly meetings have consisted of COVID-19 and the updates and how to support the faculty, especially with their labs, in ongoing research and collecting pilot data and those sorts of things. And so, that has been extremely helpful to have those relationships created in those constant conversations ongoing. So, all right. So here. I know there's a little delay with slides, so. All right, so just a quick background in Texas Tech. So we were established in 1923. We started with 914 students. And then as of, I believe, fall of 2019, so last fall, with all 4 of our campuses, we reached about 55,000. So that's a new record. We keep increasing our record, so it's nice to have a bunch of Red Raiders out there. For our tech campus, in Lubbock, Texas, we had about 40,000. So we started with just a small 4 colleges. So we had Ag, Engineering, Home Ec, and Liberal Arts, and we now have 12 colleges and 4 campuses. We're also one of 2 schools. UT is the other one to have a graduate school, law school, and a medical school all on our campus. And so one of those was added to our TTU campus, which is our TTU Health Science Center, and that was expanded in 1979. So one of the proud accolades that we like to address is definitely our R1 status. So we originally received this in 2015, and then again in 2018, and all that means is that we have high research activity. We became an established HSI institute in 2017, and so we have a large, over 25% Hispanic undergrads at Texas Tech, and a lot of programs to help with retention, facilitation, peer-to-peer interaction, support. We're really very proud of that status and of the diversity amongst our students. So we have about 1,600 full-time faculty and 188 part-time. Typically, the start of each academic year, we have about 80 to 100 new faculty, and so that definitely gives us an opportunity and really a dedication to make sure that we do connect with new faculty because there are so many. And so here I'm going to outline a few of those things that we do an effort to do that. So again, the responsibility is amongst all of us. And so I break that down with 3 critical pipelines that I believe contribute to the support and success of our early career faculty. So with research development, so research development is not a new field. The concept has been around for many, many years. However, within Texas Tech, it's about 5 to 7 years old. So we're still growing and learning and supporting and discovering new and innovative ways to help faculty and establishing more and maintaining relationships with our faculty. So in the kind of the RD world, if that is something that you're interested in learning more about, I highly recommend attending a NORDIC conference. So it's just a national organization of research development professionals. Ours was actually canceled this year, obviously. Lots of events were, but the next one should be in Washington, and I highly recommend attending one of those. There are so many opportunities of learning new ideas, meeting new people, collaborative efforts. It really is, again, it's an effort of support with your institution, but also other institutions. So again, the first one I'm going to talk about is the office that I work for, which is the Office of Research Development and Communications, and then we'll discuss campus RD relationships and entities. All right, So within the Office of Research Development Communications, we offer a few services. Now, when our new faculty come onto campus, we typically have we call it a new faculty research orientation, where we're able to meet one-on-one. So we're kind of having to pivot doing that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that event here shortly. So a few of the things that we help our new faculty, because again, just like the presentation mentioned, a lot of, these are students who have become independent scholars, early career researchers, facing challenges of high workloads, long hours, publish and perish pressures, tenure track. So all of these things are weighing heavy, and they're just starting, and they're, getting their feet wet with their class schedules and organizing the things that they need to with their labs and their students and their TAs. And then we're also dumping on them, deadlines with grants and collaborations. And so hopefully we're trying to alleviate some of that stress and supporting them in these ventures, and really letting them know that they're not alone. So just a few quick things that we do that our office does support, help support our new faculty in early careers. Faculty with our proposal development. So we offer early stage proposal development assistance. Now this can be for large scale, center-like proposals, or again, even new faculty or first time submissions. So we are happy to work with one-on-one, with our faculty one-on-one, or in a group setting if they're needing collaborators, and we look for collaborators for a specific request for proposal that they're wanting to submit for. We also offer graphic assistance. So we have a part-time faculty member that works as a faculty member and then also as a graphic designer for grant proposals. So we also offer a grant writing resource library. This is also something that we've had fairly new. It's about a year old. And so this contains full text narratives of about 500 successful proposals. And so these proposals span almost every discipline from arts to sciences. So we really try to encourage our faculty that we support not just STEM-focused fields, but also humanities. We have program officer assistance, which just entails developing a relationship with the program officer and the importance of that, and helping with the concept paper, setting up meetings, those are, and actually connecting them with the right program officer. What our faculty take the most advantage of is probably our scan sessions. And so these are swift critique, appraisal, and notation sessions. So we offer two. We have a pre-submission scan and a resubmission scan. So the pre-submission scan is where ORDC will conduct a review of the grant proposal in its near finished state. And then we just do a high-level review where we focus on the solicitations review criteria and the agency's expectations. Now, we do something similar for the resubmission scan. However, we take the reviewer comments from the decline proposal and we assist with strategizing for successful resubmission. And in our last couple, we provide grant editors. They provide redline edits, give constructive feedback, and really help to increase the competitiveness of the grant proposal. Last, something that has been in high demand is actually our Finding Funding webinars. So just like Melody, we use a couple of Elsevier products. We use Funding Institutional as our Finding Funding search engine, and we moved to using Funding Institutional last October. And so I usually provide a funding webinar, Funding Institutional webinar, or one-on-ones with our faculty to help them set up their saved searches, their alerts. Really, Funding Institutional is extremely easy. So coming from another search engine, it offers so much more, and it's very interactive. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And the last thing that I feel is probably the most crucial is going to be the event. So we'll discuss the events and workshops. So we'll discuss that next. All right. So we meet as a team and plan out each year. So that includes dates, semesters, focus, potential speakers. We typically host the same one, so there are 4 team members, and so every year we know that we host a specific workshop or event, and then we make changes or adjustments according to faculty feedback. So we absolutely love hearing from the faculty because they're the ones that are at the front lines, and so we have experience in helping them and submitting proposals, successful proposals, but we also want them to feel heard. We want to know what they're wanting assistance with. Do we need to do more of this or less of that? And so it is important to note that these events we always discuss, again, what I just discussed with you all, which is just a quick overview of our services. So anytime we have an opportunity to be in front of faculty or in front of a faculty filled audience, we do try to promote our services because, again, I've been here for 2 years, and there are many tenured faculty that don't know we exist. So we have created more and more relationships over the past couple of years. And so with those surveys that we do receive back at the end of each event, we meet as a team. We talk about ways that we need to make adjustments or change or even create an entirely new webinar or workshop to meet the needs of our faculty. And so I also wanted to mention that within these events, there are a few that we provide our other colleagues from our other departments of the Office of Research and Innovation. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as well, but it's very important to always be inclusive of all of the departments of OR&I, because being new to a campus, that can be confusing with who do I need to speak to, how do I need, where do I need to start? Is it Office of Research Services? Is it Office of Research Development? Do I need to speak with someone about IRB approval? So we'll discuss that as well. So our main goal is really to build a foundation of grant writing and support all faculty, but specifically myself and my fellow colleagues who's also a program manager, specifically with early career faculty. And some have varying levels of mentorship, so we really try to fill the gaps where they feel they're not supported. So here I'm just going to, a quick overview. So this is our summer 2020 event, and so of course a few of those have already passed. We do offer networking activities between our campus and our Health Sciences Center, and so we actually just had that event on Friday. I know that one person mentioned how do we get faculty to these meetings or to these trainings. And I will say that definitely food never hurts, but now that we're in this virtual kind of setting, how do we get these people to network or to attend these workshops and trainings and webinars? I'll say that now more than ever, I feel like faculty have some time to, and so it kind of breaks up the monotony of their days. But I'll also say that, well, with our faculty, excuse me, that networking has been a very, very hot button for them. So any time that we can put other faculty together, we have a very high number of RSVPs. So I don't know if that's what you're missing on your college, within your campus or college, university, but that's something that we found that anytime we provide any sort of networking, we really receive a lot of good feedback. So my coworker, the other program manager, so she has created a wonderful series where we're also, again, responding to the needs of our faculty, which is working with program officers. So we have connected with program officers from NSF, NIH, USDA. We also have one tomorrow for, let's see, I believe NEH. So again, this is what the faculty was requesting that they needed, and we've had very high turnout. There's a Q&A at the end. So a few others. So we have our virtual open house, which again has the OR&I panel speakers. This is the first time that this open house is going to become virtual, so that's going to be in August at the start of the semester. We have finding funding, so I usually do that about 2 times a semester. and then 2 times in the summer. So about 6 times a year, and I typically have anywhere from about 20 to 30 faculty each time. So we also have a couple that are of workshops that are focused for our early career faculty, which are your first year. We talk about finding funding, a research agenda. I'll talk about that a little bit more. We also have another one called Why Wait for the RFP. We help create a concept paper. There's a peer review activity with the attendees. We talk about preparing for program officers and what that conversation should look like. And we also provide peer review opportunities. So we have 2 specifically, one's for NSF career and another for NIH submissions. And then another one that's a popular one is a broader impact workshop that we do. Again, so networking opportunities. So anytime we can have some networking opportunities, we definitely take the opportunity to apply that or make time for that within our workshop or webinar. And then we have a new series that we're actually going to start this fall that's called Research Foundations. So this is going to take the place of our new faculty, new faculty research orientation. And so whereas it used to be a 4-hour, you could choose between the morning and the afternoon, where new faculty would speak with, again, a panel of ORI speakers, including our team, and talk about research, what that looks like, support systems. So we've actually separated this into, it says 5-part series, so there's a 2-part with one of them. So your first year in research, we have Grant Writing 101. So you've got a grant, now what? And then we end with the favorite, safety and responsible research, because it is important that we do include that within the research foundations of new faculty. So we also have a couple of more, and these last 3 that I'm going to mention, we also receive high attendance from. So we have Faculty Research Club. So this includes 3 speakers with whatever. So for example, we have themes for each of them. We have 2 Faculty Research Club meetings each semester, and then we have 2 research leadership discussions. So the only difference is with FRC, we have 3 faculty within whatever theme we're doing. So for example, we've done rural health, we've done technology and society, and so we get 3 speakers. They have 5 minutes to speak, and then again, there's a networking portion at the end of that. So changing to this format from what we've had in 2018, again, we've gone from about 10 or so faculty members to about 40. So really listening to your faculty, I cannot repeat that even more than I already have. Research leadership discussions, those are led by Dr. Heppert, so our VPR, and again, he creates what the titles of those discussions will be, and we have 2 of those every semester, so 4 total within an academic year. Now, the last thing that we have had for 2 years in a row is called Write Winning Grant Seminar. It's an all-day seminar where we have a consultant that we hire that comes in. He spends from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock with and we usually have about 100 in attendance. And then this is a phase 1, and we go on to a phase 2. But primarily I wanted to talk about the phase 1, which, again, it's a very in-depth grant writing 101 and then some. So if you do have the opportunity to bring a consultant like that to your campus, especially for your early career, I would say that this is probably our most attended event that we've had. So much so that we have decided instead of doing every other year, we're doing yearly. All right, so the next part of our team is our communications team. So similar to Melody, we also have a blog, we have some newsletters. So our communications department helps keep faculty up to date with the latest funding, opportunities, and news from OR&I through 2 monthly newsletters. And so with the funding opportunity, so I created a funding ops email about a year ago after, again, receiving feedback for not knowing where or how or when faculty would have time to look for funding opportunities. And so this monthly email contains internal funding opportunities. We have limited submission opportunities. That's something that our office also oversees. And then we have other opportunities that we locate and that we feel are relevant to our researchers' interest and focus. And then at the end of that, we have announcements. So if we have, again, any events or workshops, then we put that at the end of this funding opportunities email, and this is sent out monthly, as well as what we call Scholarly Messenger. Contains a little bit of the same information. There are more OR&I focus events versus with the funding opportunities email. It's just what it is. It's just funding opportunities for our faculty. So they also feature faculty research, scholarship, and creative activity in an online magazine called Discoveries. And then we also have an OR&I blog that's called Rater Impact. So again, really continuing to connect with our faculty, highlighting their hard work in the research, and really just constantly working with them to spotlight their hard work. And so here are a few examples. So here on the left is what our Scholarly Messenger looks like. The screenshot in the middle is our Office of Research and Innovation website. And then on the right is the monthly email, which also has our social media accounts there at the very top. So we do have a Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot that people can also connect via those avenues. All right. So again, back to the beginning, it's crucial that we all make sure that we play a part in being a support in these teams. So a few of the teams that I did want to briefly talk about. So we have an internal funding programs team. So this is led by, again, a part-time faculty member who is in humanities. Again, we always want to be representative of what our faculty looks like in their multidisciplinary research and studies. We have a responsible research team. We also have an innovation hub. We have a great relationship with our international affairs representative, and so anytime we have faculty that are working on something that is overseas, China, Brazil, wherever it is, and our international affairs office helps coordinate that. And then, of course, we have our Office of Research Services. So our office supports the finding funding, the narrative, really the pre-submission, and then our proposal team makes sure to review the guidelines. They solely also focus on developing the budget. Again, they make sure to actually hit the submit button. They also provide training and support. So we have what we call another opportunity that's called Red Rater University. And so there are, each semester there are 6 courses. And again, it's another opportunity for our faculty to, just for a short hour or two, can go in, speak to speakers, panelists, with different subjects, with pre-award, post-award, accounting services, just every level, every kind of rung of that grant life cycle. All right, so here's just kind of a breakdown of what our office looks like. So here at the top, you have Dr. Heppert, and then each of our departments. So again, just like I mentioned, our associate VPR and I, Dr. Slingen, she is who oversees our internal funding programs. We have responsible research, natural fibers research initiatives. We have our Office of Research Development Communications, research services, export and security compliance. So these are all, I wanted it to show you and provide you a snapshot of this, because these are the relationships that are important that you create, facilitate, maintain, because you all together will be able to support your faculty efficiently. I can't say that anymore. And here are just a few of the institutes that our office also oversees. So I specifically am part of the Obesity Research Institute, but here's just a quick snapshot of some other ones that our Office of Research and Innovation oversees. All right, so I'd like to end with our finding funding. So again, just like Melody, we use a couple of Elsevier products. Pure, we are actually, we've kind of test drove Pure for a little bit, and we're using it in one way that I'm going to talk about. But again, since using Funding Institutional since October of last year, it has been such an immense help with our faculty. We are seeing now more faculty actually use Funding Institutional in place of what they were using. The product that we were using before, it took a lot of time, which we know faculty don't have a lot of to spare, but you had to set your profile up. There was just a lot of maintenance that went on with it. With Funding Institutional, again, it's very interface user-friendly. It's very black and white. It's very interactive. You can look at 3 things at one time. I really can't talk about the importance of finding funding, using Funding Institutional even more. So again, so one of the ways that we actually use Pure, so we have a consulting company called Lewis Burke. So they send us a newsletter that contains opportunities. So this is another way that we also distribute those opportunities. They also help with program officer connections and setting those meetings up, either in person with a quick visit to Washington, when that can hopefully happen again sometime in the near future, and also with Pure. So my colleague, our other program officer, so what she does is we use Pure in collaboration with the newsletter in what the opportunities are provided on the newsletter. And we connect researchers to specific funding ops. So just like Melody mentioned, there's a fingerprint, there's a way that you can locate using certain keywords, key research words. And another way that we use Pure is to locate collaborators, both internally and externally. And then last, something that we're also going to start this fall that we just confirmed in one of our weekly meetings is a research agenda. So we wanted to discover what is the next step to the Funding Institutional webinars. How can we get our faculty to use this as well as set up safe searches, look for collaborators and whatnot. So what we decided is after they have attended a Funding Institutional webinar, we'll reach out to them, have a one-on-one meeting, and create a 2-year or a 5-year plan where maybe our faculty aren't quite ready to submit to, let's say, NSF career. Then we're going to locate funding opportunities that they will submit to, creating and building their grant portfolio and setting them up for success so that they will be able to eventually submit to NIH or NSF. All right, and so here is just my contact information. Please feel free, if you have any questions at all about anything that I mentioned, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to email, to sit and chat with you, whatever it is that you feel that you need. And I really want to acknowledge that taking the time to listen to faculty is very important. Creating those relationships, isn't just about the researchers or faculty, either early career or tenure, but really the responsibility is with the entire research community, whether it's the research development team, the Office of Research Services. We want our institution to continue to be successful, research-focused, submitting quality grant proposals, And to do that, we have to understand the responsibility we each have every step of the way. So even if it isn't within our wheelhouse, which, sometimes I might get a question that isn't, I make sure to get that person connected with who can help them and then follow up. So again, it's really about creating, maintaining, nurturing those relationships that you have, and that starts with new faculty. So again, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you took some information, some wealth of knowledge from myself and Melody's experience. Thank you so much.
Gosh, Crystal, thank you so much. We have a ton of questions here. I'll give you, Crystal, a break from speaking for a minute. And there were a few questions that came in specifically from Melody. So Melody, one of the questions we had is, so you have your Research Quarterly Updates newsletter. So somebody wondered if that was available only to UTMB, only to a UTMB audience, or do you share that more broadly?
Okay, the quarterly research isn't a newsletter. It's actually it was in person. Yesterday we had our first totally virtual one. So that's where the chief research officer gets together and we have a kudos section, what's happening in research. We show all the publications from the quarter, all the awards from the quarter, things like that. So it's an in-person thing.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so a few more questions. I think Crystal answered this, but maybe you can give your perspective too, Melody. How do you get faculty to attend these trainings and roundtables?
That is always the question, isn't it? What we've discovered is you have a pandemic. No, so I don't know if it's happened for everyone else, but suddenly we have a lot more people attending the online sessions than we ever did the in-person sessions. So maybe the fact that you don't have to walk across campus, maybe the silver lining to the pandemic is how do you get people to attend sessions? Maybe you don't have live sessions. I don't know. We always, that's a question we face. We encourage them. We do a lot of communications, and we also keep a log of when they request certain things, we reach out to them personally and say, you might want to come to this training.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next question is, these are, we had a few questions about sharing proposals. So when you're sharing full proposal samples, do you share with all faculty? Do you require them to keep this information confidential? How do you share full proposal samples?
So in our grant writing resource, it's actually, we do get their permission. You can also, we have an option where you can submit your own work. So sometimes we may know someone that submitted a similar grant, so we will reach out to them and kind of twofold, can this particular PI use your information, and can we also use it in our grant resource library. So it is user protected, so only those that have access to our TTU information can get access to it, but it is a full proposal unless there are sometimes some portions that are marked out just per the PI, but mostly what that specific person is looking for can be found in the proposals that are within the grant writing resource library.
Okay, thank you. A couple other questions about how many FTEs do you guys have in your offices? So people are very impressed by how much activity you have and how structured. And I think from my perspective, what I see with both of your shops is you are very organized and intentional about the outreach initiatives that you have. But so how many people do you have to do all these activities?
So again, I would say with ours, just showing kind of an outline of of who all supports. So in my specific office, there are 4, but we have an entire team that we all work together to make sure that we support faculty in whatever form or fashion they're needing.
In my office, I'm part of the research education group, so the training and things like that is done by our group. As far as maintaining, as far as the funding, institutional, the pure, that's mostly me. And then we have the Grant Central office. So all in all, it's about 6, 7 people total. But it's very compartmentalized.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we're going to have any more time for another question, but I wondered if any parting thoughts, Melody or Crystal, before we wrap up?
I did see one question that I did want to address because I do think it is helpful for anyone that is looking to support their faculty. And so someone asked about who is the consultant for Right Winning Grants, the all-day seminar. And it's actually John Robertson, and that's exactly what his workshops are called. So grant writers, seminars, and workshops. So if anyone wants any information about that, again, please email me. I'm happy to discuss that. So I'll pass it to Melody.
And I agree. I'm going to second Crystal on that. If you have questions, I've provided my email, and I would welcome to answer any questions. I did see that somebody asked about the toolkits. They are available on our website, which is public, and that is research.utmb.edu. So you can look at our toolkits and see what we do there. I just think that reaching out to faculty when they first get on campus is important. Welcoming them, letting them know the tools rather than letting them get frustrated and then find out what's available. So that is one of the most important things, I think, is just get them when they get there.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to sincerely thank our fabulous presenters, Melody and Crystal, who shared such valuable experiences with us today. On a personal note, these ladies are fabulous to work with, and I'm grateful to have such nice, warm, and very hospitable clients. I'd also like to thank my colleague Jill Konexko, who organized this session. Thank you very much. You'll see that on the screen I posted an announcement where we have the attachments and links are there. I think both Crystal and Melody mentioned NORDEP, National Organization for Research Development Professionals. It's a great resource for mentoring, all sorts of helpful resources for research development professionals, so check them out. PURE is a research information management system, and I put a link there. Our Bright Talk channel is Elsevier Research Intelligence, lots of great webinars, and I think that's it. So thank you so much for joining us today. You'll be sent a copy of this recording afterwards. And again, we appreciate you spending the day with us. And I'm so grateful to my presenters, Crystal and Melody. And thank you, Jill, for organizing. So everybody, I hope you have a good day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.